My name is Jennifer Bland, and this is
Valerie Regas.
And today we've got another great video for you. In our previous video, we talked about all the different roles that are available to you in tech. And so today we want to talk about
how to transition, as it turns out, going from one career to another, or from being a stay-at-home mom to a new career. These are huge, major life transitions, and there's a lot of just little logistical things people don't always consider. So we thought maybe we'd hopefully make your path a little easier by pointing out some potential hurdles and how to jump right on over those.
Exactly. So after you've looked at all the different ways that you can get into tech with all the different roles, once you've picked the one that you're interested in pursuing, the next thing that you need to do is actually do some research about what type of education that you can take that can train you on the particular role that you're actually interested in.
Yeah, so we're actually going to do an entirely different video for that subject matter because it's a big one. But skipping over that for the time being, let's say you know what sounds exciting to you and you know what schooling or path is right for you. The first hurdle you're going to overcome is how to pay for that educational program.
Exactly. Money, money, money.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and assume that if you have enough money to cover it in savings, you probably don't need this chunk of the video. Feel free to skip ahead. But like most of us, you probably don't have 10 to 20 grand maybe lying around in your savings account just, for nothing. So one way you can pay for it that is an option, if you have family or friends who might want to contribute to something like a GoFundMe, or who might issue a personal loan, let you pay them back. Everyone's family is different. Some of us have very many relatives, some people have very few, some of us have huge social networks, some of us have very small ones. So one way to get out of maybe an interest-free loan would be to go to the people who love you most and explain, I'm ready to change my life, would you help?
Exactly. And if that doesn't give you all the funds that you need to pay for your new education path, another thing that you can look at is doing a bank loan. Most banks do what's called unsecured bank loans, meaning that there's no collateral on them, that they will do in small amounts for things like education like this that will help you to be able to go out and pay for the training that you're going to be doing.
Yeah, and so you were actually talking recently to me about credit card advances, which is something I've never done. I've never, I'm afraid, but I know nothing about credit card advances.
Exactly. So most credit cards will have a feature where, normally if you need to pay for something, you just give your credit card to the company, they charge your credit card, and that's how they do it. Most educational systems that you're doing from a tech standpoint, like a coding boot camp, aren't set up to accept credit cards. So you can't just give them a credit card to charge the cost of the boot camp. So with a credit card advance, you can call up your credit card company and they will send you a check, and then you write a check to whatever you want, just like any other regular check, and then you would write the check to, let's say, your coding boot camp. They would then cash that check and it would be then charged against your credit card. Now, be warned, if you do that, the interest rate on a credit card advance is usually much higher than the default interest rate than if you just charge something on your credit card. Yeah. But it is an option. If you've got, even if it's a high interest rate and you're able to complete your training in a short amount of time and then get a high paying job in tech, then you'll be able to pay it off. But be aware of that. You were warned.
Yeah, I was about to say, for someone like me, I used to not have the best credit. Rehab that. Woo, go me. I was actually very blessed in that the boot camp I attended did accept credit card payments, or else that would have been a very different reality for me. So as someone who used to have poor credit, I would have had to think outside of the box. I would definitely recommend, if you're feeling a little creative, a personal fundraiser. This can look like a number of things. Maybe you are really good in the kitchen. So you send out to, again, your friends and family and your social network, I'm doing a fundraising dinner for my education. Recommended donation is $50 a plate, and you cook a big meal for the people who love you. You're not asking one person to give you a $10,000 loan. You're asking everyone who loves you to give you a $50 donation to also come and enjoy your company and let you do something for them. It could look like a retro prom at your house. It could look like anything. Your imagination is the limit on that one. Or if you're not feeling terribly creative, again, something like You Caring or GoFundMe is a way to ask everyone who loves you to donate a tiny amount rather than, that one aunt or uncle for the entire amount.
And if you want to do a fundraiser, you should always go hit up all those people and your coworkers at work where they came in and they're like, my kid's selling Girl Scout cookies. Wouldn't you like to buy? Or my kid's raising money for their athletic team. So would you like to buy whatever that they're selling, cookies or whatnot? And you just feel obligated to go buy some cookies or, whatever from their fundraiser that you're never going to eat or anything else like that. But you just did it because you work with that person. That person, you need to go say, now you need to contribute to my personal fundraiser.
Are there people who buy the cookies and don't eat every last one?
Besides me?
I didn't know that was an option. I've eaten 1,000 Thin Mints in my life.
It's so funny because when they do it at work, after they come in, you go into the break room and there's all these open boxes of cookies waiting for people to just go eat it because I'm not going to take it home. So, all right, so let's get back on track. Another thing, so now that we talked about hitting up all your coworkers at work, another thing that's available for you is ask your employers, because most employers have employer tuition reimbursement. Now, most of those plans are set up if you're going to a traditional college and getting a college degree. Since things like a boot camp or some of these technical trainings are newer, they may not have it written, specifically to support that. But if you explain to them what you're doing and why you're doing it and what they will benefit by having those new skills that you can apply at work, then there's a very strong possibility that they will allow you to use the employer tuition, reimbursement to be able to pay for your education and your funding.
Now, a couple things to keep in mind when it comes to tuition reimbursement from an employer. First of all, if you are an accountant looking to be a full stack developer, they're probably not going to help you because they know you're going to leave them. Most of these tuition reimbursement programs have some amount of time where you are required to stay and work there afterwards, or else you're liable to pay it back. So if you are looking to completely transition fields, you might not want to tie yourself for an extra 2 years to a role you don't love. But if you're looking to move within the same company to a different role, or if you're looking to simply increase your skill set, it might be worth it to be sort of beholden for a few extra more years.
Exactly. Now, if you have ever served in the military, thank you all for your service, for those that have done it. There is a thing that's called the GI Bill. And the GI Bill allows you, once you've served for however many long, to come out, and then they will provide funds to you to be able to pay for education. Now, most of the time, the GI Bill, just like employer tuition that we talked about, is designed to pay for a college education. It may not be accepted in these traditional new coding boot camps. Some coding boot camps will accept the GI Bill, some do not. So before you go talk to them, ask them if you qualify for it. Ask them if they will support it or not.
Yeah. Another type of loan that is really neat and sort of boot camp specific, Upstart.
Yep.
There's a few more.
There's Lending Club, Prosper.
Yeah.
The way that these websites work is when coding boot camps came out, they were new, they were novel. Nobody knew whether they would work or not. After they've been around and, now that you've had a couple of thousand people graduating every year from that coding boot camp, they're a proven entity, and they've shown that people can come from any types of walk of life at any age with any background, go through a short, usually 3-6 month training, and then get a well-paying job in tech. So people have realized that. So now they went out and they started creating websites where they would lend money to people that are attending coding boot camps or other technical training, because they know that as a result of you getting that training, you're going to be getting a higher paying job so that you can pay them back. The interest rates on that are a lot less than doing a credit card advance, but we'll put links below the video. But the websites mainly are upstart.com, lendingclub.com, and I think prosper.com. If we think of any more, we'll put the links below. But that's another thing to look into, where they realize that you're trying to do technical training, and it's not a college degree, and they are perfectly fine with that, and they're willing to basically do funding to people that are attending college coding boot camps.
Yeah, so you've kind of picked out a role, you know what education you need to get where you want to be. If you're like me and you started a boot camp with kids, there's some things to bear in mind. Yeah, it's a lot. So maybe your kids are older and they're school age. Try to find a program, if at all possible, that meets during school hours. That way you're not faced with daycare charges while you're in school and maybe not working. If you do have younger kids and need daycare, you've got some options. What I did was, instead of doing the full-time boot camp, which would have taken half as much time, but cost me about $250 a week in childcare while I wasn't employed, I took the part-time route. That enabled me to go nights and weekends when my partner was home. If you don't have a partner, that throws a wrench in the plan. This is a good time to, at all costs, reach out to your social support network. And if you don't have one, find one. This is not a path that's easy to walk alone. When it comes to the cost of daycare, in theory, every state in the union has daycare support through the Department of Family and Child Services or through the Department of Human Resources. In theory, that money's available, but it's almost always that most of the facilities are already booked. You might get approved for that help. You may or may not have a spot. So when it comes to the childcare, try to be creative with the scheduling, try to be creative with the educational path, but most importantly, reach out to everyone you love and just say, hey, I need help. I actually, for the rest of my life, will treasure this one friend who drove an hour each way on multiple occasions when I was in the boot camp. She just came and hung out with my 3-year-old so I could study for a few hours. That's it. She didn't do anything drastic. She just gave of her time and energy and made my life a little easier. People will come out and help you. You just have to ask.
Exactly. And even if you don't have children, it's still important to get that family support, because you can't do this on your own. Both Valerie and I did a coding boot camp. She did it part-time. I did mine full-time basis. Now, here's my coding boot camp. It was 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. Now, when you think about that, there is absolutely no time for me to run to the bank, to do laundry, to cook, to clean, just basically to do anything in life, because by the time I finished, everything in the universe was closed, and you need to rely on your family to help you out during that time that you're going through and doing your training. Because even after the training is over at the end of the day, you're still studying and absorbing and learning what was covered in class that day. So even though if your class is from 9 to 5, you're still going to be doing, maybe 2, 3, 4 hours in the evening when you get home, still learning.
So let's say that you don't have friends that live near you, you don't have family that lives near you, maybe you've just relocated, maybe you're like me and you've said goodbye to a lot of your family. This is the time to reach out on social media. If you get on Facebook and search for, moms in this town, or a hobby that you enjoy this town, now is a good time to reach out and start finding a new social circle.
Exactly. And the most important thing is, now that you've found which job in tech that you want to do, and you found out how to basically pay for it with all the methods that we talked about, is the most important skill that you need to know is how to learn again. So for some of us, it's, from between the time I graduated from university to when I did a coding boot camp, it was like 35 years later. You forgot that process of what it's like to be in a learning environment where you've got a teacher that's teaching you something. So that's an important skill to learn.
Yeah, it's absolutely worth looking up some tutorials online, study skills refresher. It's a great time to basically, before you ever start the education, in the weeks, months leading up to it, just start by Googling the phrase, how to study effectively. It's going to be your best friend.
Exactly. So we want to just recap everything that we covered in this video. What we want to do is give you all the possible options that are out there that can help you pay for your new transition from your current environment into tech. Regardless of whichever role that you've selected in tech, there are a lot of options available to you. So don't let funding be a reason to stop you from getting into tech, because you do have opportunities available to you.
Absolutely. We hope you have found this incredibly helpful. We hope that we've helped you sort of anticipate some of the hurdles, and we hope you have all the success.
And if this video helps you, be sure to click the thumbs up sign below. I'd like to thank you again. My name is Jennifer Bland.
I'm Valerie Regas.
Thank you.